in sand and blood at the edge of his consciousness. Always associated with combat, always there when he was worried, and right now, with new armed players on the scene, his worry for Cam and the teams was magnified. "Approaching south stairwell," Lauren said. 90 seconds until they reach your position, Alpha." "Part of the crew?" Cam said. Nick swallowed, forcing saliva into his mouth, uttering a single word. "No." He'd investigated this crew for over a year. He knew every detail of every member, height, build, weapon of choice, how they moved, and these two were no one he'd studied. "Third-party ripoff," he surmised. "Charlie team, move to intercept," Cam ordered. "Alpha team, moving on primary. Priority 1, victim rescue. 2, secure the target. 3, apprehend suspects." The target was a portable voice-activated safe containing priceless Serbian artifacts for a museum exhibit next weekend. Millions in jewels, historical texts and sheet music, and textiles that had been rescued from war-torn Kosovo 2 decades ago. The victims were a Serbian dignitary and his wife, whose voices were required to open said safe. They'd only just arrived in town last night, the artifacts and their safe not yet moved to the museum's secure cage. "Suspect Monroe is not to be harmed," Nick reminded him. Abigail Monroe was their confidential informant inside the crew. "Roger that," Cam replied. "On my count." Cam got as far as 2 before a hail of gunfire erupted. Everywhere. Inside the target apartment, on the floor below, and outside the surveillance van. Shots pinged the metal grill and raced up the hood toward the windshield. And inside Nick, fear and worry exploded. Heat everywhere, before his military training kicked in and his emotions morphed into action. He was fine. He wasn't in the desert. He'd been trained in urban combat. And fuck it. He needed to protect his position. Once that was done, he'd help Cam, whether the bull-headed ASAC wanted him to or not. "Go, go, go," Cam shouted, dispensing with quiet. In Nick's ear, heavy boots pounded up metal stairs, doors slammed open, and gunfire continued to pop, shattering what sounded like wood and glass. Nick's balance wavered, whether from the strangled shouts in his ear, from a similar clenching of his chest, or from the sway of the van under assault, he couldn't say. Lauren's shout of, "Come under fire!" snapped him out of it. And back to the on-monitor view from Cam's helmet cam, which abruptly wobbled, the agent's step faltering. "Boston, go!" Nick yelled. "I got this." "Beta, secure comm Charlie. Intercept third party, back up Alpha. Go!" Cam said, before charging out of the stairwell with his team. Nick tore his gaze from Cam's screen and focused on the others, searching for the shooter who'd paused firing on the van. "Sweep the area," he told Lauren, as he mentally rewound and counted the previous shots. He needed to know how long the next barrage would go on before he could make a move. Her glittery nails flew across the keyboard, new angles and views of the surrounding financial district blocks appearing on the monitors. A bright glare on one screen nearly blinded him. "Stop there." Early morning sunlight bounced off glass, a sniper's scope, on the second story of the under-construction building across the street. Nick reached for his sidearm, then, thinking better of it, grabbed a rifle and scope out of the van's cage. Darting to the front, he crouched between the seats, behind the dash, as bullets slammed again into the windshield. Cracks snaked across the outside, but the reinforced glass continued to hold. Assured of its strength, Nick lifted his head and peered through the scope, spying the shooter's nest. "Lauren," he shouted back into the van, as he attached the scope to the rifle. "Tell Beta Team to lay down cover." Lauren relayed the order, and suppressive fire sprayed from the roof of the apartment building. Nick shoved open the driver's side door and rolled out of the van, using the door as a shield. Shots pinged the outside while Beta Team's answering fire whizzed overhead. He counted the sniper's shots as he lowered the window.